Here we've got another kind of basic algebra situation. I do think that the best way to do this is to just know the algebra. I'll show you another way at the end. But when I look at this, I notice, okay, they're testing distribution here. If I get this wrong, it's going to be because I distribute incorrectly. So I want to make sure I get that step right. So I'm going to draw my little arcs. 2 times x squared is 2x squared. 2 times negative x is negative 2x. Then for the 3's, I do the same thing. Plus 3x squared minus 3x. And then it's just combining like terms, right? So 2x squared plus 3x squared is 5x squared. Negative 2x minus 3x is minus 5x, which is choice A, which is the answer. So see, that was fast. We did that in less than a minute. But here's the thing. If you're not great at algebra, there's a high probability you mess something like this up. And so this is where I think that having alternatives can really help you out. So when I look at this question from an SAT strategy perspective, not from a just plain old algebra perspective, the SAT strategy that jumps out to me is arithmetize. And that's because, notice, in the original expression, we've got a bunch of x's, and then in all the choices, we have those same x's. The x's don't matter. They're a placeholder. They could replace any number. That's what makes them a variable, is the number varies, right? So what we do when we arithmetize is we say, you know what, I'm nervous that I'm going to make some sort of mistake. Algebra's hard for me. So I'd rather do arithmetic because I can add 1 and 1, no problem. But x plus x is a little harder. So we pick a number for x and we see what happens if we use that number in place of x. So in this case, I'd pick the simplest thing. Let's make x equal to 1 because there's a lot of exponents and I don't want to deal with that if I can avoid it. And so when I do, now I just rewrite the expression, but I'm doing it now with 1's in place of all the x's. And now I just use PEMDAS to solve. So yes, I got to square those 1's first, but that doesn't change anything, right? 1 squared in both cases is just 1. And then I do the parentheses, right? So I got to do the subtraction. So 2, 1 minus 1 is 0. 1 minus 1 is 0. So this is really just 0 plus 0. And so 0 is what this comes out to. And so now what I would do is I would go to my answer choices and I'd make that same substitution. X is equal to 1. So all the x's in the choices should also equal 1. And I'm looking to see which one gives me 0 when I do that. So the easiest to look at our choices C and D. So right, 5 times 1 is 5, not 0. 5 times 1 squared is also 5, not 0. Let's try choice B so we can work our way towards the right answer. This one's a little worse. 5 times 1 squared plus 5 times 1. That's 5 plus 5, which is 10, not 0. And sure enough, this would be 5 times 1 squared minus 5 times 1. 5 minus 5 is 0. I squeezed it in there, but you get it. You know that that's going to work. So look, that's definitely not more efficient. But if your choices are getting it wrong using algebra, which you're not great at, or getting it right using arithmetize, which is a little weird, but at least removes the algebra, removes the thing you're not good at, I say use the strategy, guarantee yourself the points. We're just trying to add points to your score. So there's no extra points for doing it by the book. If a strategy gets you points that you'd otherwise lose, use the strategy. If you can guarantee that you can get it with algebra, do the algebra. But if you're not getting them right, you got to try something new. Arithmetize is something new.